Okay, so I finally got an ATR Breakout EA running. Finally. It's kind of anticlimactic. Somebody sent me a file on a kind of a grid strategy based on ATR, but the problem with that is that I like to trade a lot and it wasn't trading enough. So this thing trades like a whore. This thing is actually looking. The other thing, you have to set a very tight window. This one, the window you can set too, when it's going to get in, when it's going to get out. Nice thing about this is runs a trailing stop if you want. Some guy posted this for free, and this way you can manage multiple currency pairs from just a stupid ass stop entry system. So there's only a few components to this. If you look in here, you have your, now take profit. When it says 500, they mean 50 pips here, because this is set for a 5 decimal broker. This is really old. I don't see a copyright date on this file, so this goes way back. But this is, you can also tell it to only trade one direction, I think. But I tried to play with the code, and it turns out that this will not, if you edit this that you see in the code, it will not change the way this behaves. So yeah, unfortunately, but it's okay. I created a template that is just the settings. So I'm risk 20 pips to make 50 pips basically. Now here's your size. Here's how many times here's the starting time is at 1 o'clock, your platform time to, or the broker time to the 2300 hours. The shift, I put the ATR at 2. Okay, I don't want no lag. I just want this thing to trade like it's getting gang raped. Because I really want to see what this strategy does. This is really non-directional. There is no filter on this. There's no moving average. It's not saying, oh, well, look at the, hey, last week, and none of that. Now I can take all profits also right now. So if I think the market's reached a climax, and if I want my time exposure to be tightened up, it's not going to get out unless it either gets stopped out. You can run a trailing stop though. So if I ran the trailing stop the same as my initial stop. Now I can hit the close all profits key, and of course what time of day it is matters too, I suppose, right? If you're up on this trade, now I'm just going to close all profits, override the thing, and now it's going to try to get back in other stuff. Maybe it's another possible problem is that there's a magic number in here, and I think that I might have to change that to get it to talk to the other things. I'm not sure if an expert ID is a magic number, but it could be. So if you come up here and you go for this, you can make templates with different ID numbers. So because maybe it's talking to the other orders. I don't actually know what's going on in there, but I'll put a link to the guy's the EA, the original EA, and you just change the settings, and you just save a template with the expert advisor loaded on that template. This is a blockhead trading. I just made $100 just sitting here. I feel like that guy that's got that dumbass commercial. Yeah, just press the button like a fucking idiot. But here you can see that if your risk is $2, right? I'm in 2 positions now. God knows what's going to happen. So let this puppy churn all night. Now, it may be that the ATRs, okay, there's another idea, to overcome some of the facts that the market's dead in the water, is to have a profile. If you delete all these objects off here before you save the profile, because I think I'll actually save all those markings. But here we just got to buy here the euro. So no way around that. So the thing is, you could save a profile that has all these currencies with all the EAs loaded into templates. So it's like the overall global view is the profile, then underneath is the templates, and then you have inside the template, you've got these little robots churning away. The thing is that, it's so hard to get these other things that want to put in CCI, and they want to put all this schmaltz on here like they're making a big pie. You could choke on that. I just bought somebody some coffee cake, and I looked at it, I said, God, I said to the people I bought it from, I'm like, do you think you overglazed that? It looked like somebody just sprayed it with Afro Sheen. And I just put up glue on it. Lucite, looked like a lucite glue on top of it. And I thought, is that just to keep it fresh and gooey? I just hate coffee cake, but they raved about this thing. I dropped $7 on that. I love how there's no tax on even junk food. They should be taxing the shit out of that, right? So I could also use this as just a way to get in the market because I don't want to get in. I could take it right now. I could just be, you know what? I'm going to take that profit right now. So you can constantly be saying, you know what? I'm not in anything. And I can't wait to see what this happens when the fucking news opens up. Now, I didn't try just discover this, so this is just in, right? Breaking news. But it's just the most blockhead system. I don't want to have to make all these decisions. I know when the ATR gets small, I definitely want to think about getting into something. I know that. I just know that's how it is. Oh, it starts getting into that's how it's got stopped out of something, I think, possibly. I'm watching the balance here, but that 43.70, right? Okay, well, look at pulling back on this euro once again. Now, euro's trying to go through the floor today, but who cares, right? Look at that. I'm up $1. Okay, so I'm risking very tight stops. I mean, 20 pip stop. So, actually, I don't know. You know what? That might be, I don't know. The math doesn't look right here, but $6. Yeah, I guess I'm just down a little bit. Yeah, 23 cents. That's right. Okay. So it's looking to make. I mean, it's risking $20, you know, to make. What do I got set here? Now that's the thing. You're going to consider how much money you have and how many robots you can run without blowing up the account. It's going to be the ultimate trick. So you're always looking at this expert properties F7. You can just have F7 right. So I'm looking to make $50 risking $20. So I could change this size at any moment. I suppose on the fly here, resave that profile and go for, if you're trading a bunch of currency pairs, but I'm just trying to for dramatic effect, percentage-wise to the total account. So I got $20 to make 50. But if I'm up $20, you know, to close all profits, you can't go wrong, especially when the market's ripping around, and who knows what's going to pop up next, right? You've got all these little assistants running for you. That's the way I look at it, because some of these trades are so stupid. It's like I was over at this office yesterday, and they said to me, hey, can you go down and turn left? It's the first draw on the left. And I thought, oh my God, did you just hire me? Like, am I working here now? Like, these are dumb moves. Anybody could do that. We hired somebody to go down the hall. How's that working out? Well, so far they haven't slipped and fallen and sued us. So this is what this EA is about. And when I first heard EAs, I go, yeah, right, a robot. Okay. But if the robot's super dumb, it's not got all the crap that you, like, you can't backtest a fucking Gartley. You got some robot that's going to be looking at a Gartley, estimating the apex of some crazy fuck. No, but the robot can say, you know, the ATR the last week's been a kind of like, you know, like a just a goofball. I mean, the dumber the robot, the better. No filters on this thing. So I'm going to take a big possible hit here. So I got some kind of weird hedge going on here, just by sheer fact the ATR settings. I also made the ATR look back 2 periods. I don't know how to get the ATR to translate to what the orders mean. So that's kind of a real weird part about the code. You can't say to the ATR, listen, when you get a 10 pip bar, do X. But it is looking at the volatility in some manner, in some glimpsy manner, like out of the corner of its eye. It has some recognition. I'm assuming. It seems to run, I'm going to be honest with you. It seems to just literally, it's not adjusting the orders for that. It seemed, so something about the ATR expansion. I don't know what the increase is, and so I haven't played with those settings yet. But in the rawest form, okay, I got a $10. It looks like I'm risking $10 there. I don't know why, because I'm 10 pips from getting stopped out and losing 20. So when I see that flash, I know that I'm 10 pips away from my 20 pip stop to make 50. So it's kind of a greedy setting right here. But I've already banked stuff, and I'm really not exposed unless something perks up somewhere, unless some drama kicks up on the other side of town. So that's always a consideration. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm finally excited about the prospects of having just a dumbass trading assistant. Now you could also trade against it. I suppose I could run the typical scripts in front of this and let it manage stop entries. That's really what it's doing. Is I think it's trading on stops and it's opening positions at the market. And this delta is very critical. This is how far away your order is from getting filled. So this is like if it breaks 3 pips above. But maybe that should be it. And I don't understand here because this seems to run like 3 pips, right? That is 3 pips, whereas the other numbers are not those numbers. Okay, this is 20 pips. This is 20. This is 50 pips. So go figure. And the ATR period. Now, if I made that 1, and I don't know what increase means. I have no idea, and nobody talks about it. Didn't find anything on the internet there. Okay, so I survived getting stopped out here. This one's underwater. I'm in a whole 20K right now, waiting for the 5-minute thing to end here. And I guess if I'm running on a 5-minute charts, I don't even know what happens if I change the time frame, honestly. So if I make these 5-minute charts, is it going to trade like crazy because it's looking at ATRs on the 5 now? I don't know. I couldn't tell you this. You'd have to experiment there. Let me change this to 5 and see how. I've never actually run a EA because the concept was so ridiculous. But this is kind of a blockhead EA. This is just goofball EA stuff here. Certainly we can all look at the chart and go, oh, well, it looks like it's kind of oversold there. Maybe you should buy a little bit. But how much do you buy and how long do you hold that? With this stupid-ass stop entry system, it looks like it doesn't matter what time frame I'm on. If I change, I don't know, maybe it's actually wiping out the... I guess the robot has to be smiling. That's the trick on these. You need this little guy up in the corner to be grinning at you. If he's frowning, that's kind of cute. If he's frowning, the robot is dead. Dead on arrival. That's an adorable little thing there, the smiley face. Okay, well, I guess in the trailing stop thing, you could run it super tight, so it just keeps on. And that right there is enough to spoil the brew, is to add all those little filters. That's the only filter I can think of is when do you start clipping the thing and blowing your speakers up? When do you blow the account up? And when does it trade? So you can set the starting time, the ending time. That's so much right there. My God, aren't you overwhelmed? Like, oh, gee. Now, if I say, well, I'm just going to turn this into a scalping platform, there's 10 pips. You can just see what that would be like. You don't have to go through the drama. I'm looking to make 20 pips, right, with a 12 pip stop. I'm going to run a trailing stop of, say, 8 pips. It's pretty tight, right? And so my... okay, so I would set that and then save that as a template and then apply that to all the other ones. So you just say template save. I just pick the top one so I can find it usually, but it doesn't always come up as the top one when you go to reload it, of course, naturally. It's 2 different description schemes. Okay, so you load this template at every one, and then you would save the whole thing as a profile, this whole page, if you wanted to keep this scheme going for multiple currencies. I wish it had an auto fill for all of these. So now I'm just going to run a tighter, a more scalp-orientated system. So different magic numbers if you want to scalp around the other orders, I suppose, and have the long-term trades overlapping. Then you're going to need to set different ATR order numbers or whatever this thing's come up here. Okay, so top of the hour there should be some there should be some drama. We're at 662 right now on the balance. So I guess crude oil's coming out or some nonsense. Consumer moron reports. I don't know what it's always something with these people. Okay, let's say I got this set at risking 12 pips to make 20 pips. I guess you just have to watch the balance. I was watching this earlier with a tight stop and tight profits, and it was just like flash, boom, bomb. It was done. You're out of the trade. Okay, coming near the stops there. 661. So into the top of the hour here. I'll see how it performs. It's in scalp mode now on 8 pairs. Stuff I just wouldn't want to have to manage. I mean, if you just literally trade, if you're a person that enters on stop entry, I mean, this has got no criteria on it. It's completely chaotic market. Okay, so I could lose 20 bucks there. No new orders have been triggered with the settings I chose. Guess you have to just unfortunately you still have to wait, but it's hands-free and you know your risk going in. If obviously if you're going to risk 15 to make 30, you know that, well, with the spread maybe you're almost doubling your money. But is that market appropriate for that? And you could fit, you could name the template after call it an ATR name. So save the template and call it 50 pip ATR, and you run that on, say, a currency that happens to be in a 50 pip range. Oh, I'm up. I was up 8 cents on that, selling the Australian CAD there. It was kind of exciting for a moment. Look at that. I'm up 22 cents, 29. Oh, that's always encouraging. But yeah, just the pure rambunctious nature of this market. I mean, who wants to sit here and place orders on this garbage? Okay, the news must be out. Yeah, this clock. Yeah, news is out. So, 5 minutes of psychosis, and we're at $660 right now. I really don't know if the time frame I chose is affecting the performance or the ATR readings, but I have everything on 1 hour now, and I guess if you stick to the 1 hour, at least you know that works. You would think that if I went to the 1 minute, that it would somehow look at that ATR and trigger. And because I don't know what the threshold is on the ATR, because I put it at 1 period. And still holding, this loser could become a winner here. Who knows? So I'm up $5 there. So I'm up 100 and it's like $100 or $80 since I started running this. I guess I would want to keep the stop the same across the board, so I would know for each pair the possibility of filling. Maybe if I put the ATR looking back, or no, I would set the window. Here's another thing: set the sample time, the window on that, to a specific window, and you would have to run different versions of that. Because maybe you want to get that window for that, the Asian breakout window it trades, and then it doesn't trade anymore. And you can't have it come back in, apparently, and start up again, and stop and start up. You'd have to start and stop that one EA, and they have another broker, another computer talking to the same account, but it's time to come in at certain. It's launching based on a certain basis. It doesn't know about the other orders that are out there. You have different magic numbers this way. You've got the guy that comes in on the 4 hours segments. He trades the breakout of the 4 hour, and the next 4 hours taken by the other robot, because even if they were all set with the same stop and take profit, they're all going to have different windows of execution, and you could have different currency pairs on that one, or you could have them running simultaneously with different stops and different take profits. So you have a scalping on top of the swing trading, on top of the intermediate, kind of the trend move. You have the swing move, the trend move, and the scalp move. So you could tune it like that. And then you just have to let it go. Now look at that. I'm not underwater here. I could close that off. I could let it play out. Certainly I would say this thing's got to be amazing to just have it run and just keep the ratios right, because we all know, we've seen the market dive down 30 pips and retrace 80 pips. That's a good trade. I'm risking 30 to make 80. That's a great trade. Also, the outlandish goes the other wackadoodle the other way. So if you have, say, the euro dollar chart up, and you're trading all those different swings in there, or you have, that other markets are capable of wild swings, so you would just run more currency pairs with that wider stop. Risking 100 pips. If you typically risk 100 pips to make 300 pips, then it only maybe places orders for 2 hours a day on those things, right? You don't want to load the wagon, have this thing scanning all day long for ATRs that fit that criteria, because then even that's going to overtrade and be a problem, like the guy that goes out and gets drunk during lunch. Supposedly a talented employee. He's out of his fucking mind. So that's the other consideration, that and just watching this thing happen real time with real money. I mean, you could just trade 1Ks here. You don't have to bet the ranch. If you're going to trade 1Ks, to see what the robot's doing would certainly be. It's great if you can see, I would have taken that trade. I mean, that's I don't have the right template up here. I just have a line chart. But say you put in your grid system, and then you put this EA on top. Now you're watching the grid, and you're like, oh, I would take that trade in a minute, just because it's goddamn volatility breakout trade, and that's what this system is. This is like a completely naked to the world volatility breakout scheme without any bias to it, other than the ATR. I would put the grid up there just so I can see it. Like, I'm going to let this thing run today and try to get it dialed in. And I can put it on that hightail site with the profiles loaded in there. Right now I'm running this on a pretty fairly tight spread broker. So the deltas could be adjusted. We're under 1 pip here on this broker. But it's certainly nice to have something churning away. Is something churning away there and making money for you. The ratio being, it's funny, when I first downloaded this, I'll send you to the link, but when you download it, realize that he's got it set to actually risk 6.5 pips to make 3 pips, so it's pretty bizarre. It'll lose money right out of the gate if you try to backtest it with those settings. So this is this is it. And you could also close all open and pendings right now. There's no pendings I don't see. So you can bail on what you're in right now. You could override the robot, or override the scheme, so to speak, at this point. But if you know that you're going to enter on a stop breakout, then you would let it enter for you. You could always, pull the, get the hook, pull them off stage, and intervene. And I think if you close down, I'm not sure, I think if you close down this platform, it's going to stop trading. So this is why people trade on clouds and stuff. A VPS server is going to churn away all day on this thing. And, hey, if you're just trying to skim, and you could have a 100 pip risk to make 300 pips in there. You could have risk 50 to make 100. And I would say, yeah, just open a bunch of brokers and let them cook. And I don't know if this thing will run in the States. Probably not. I don't know. It's first in, first out bullshit. Maybe it will. I'll try it on that. I'll try it on FXCM, see how it runs. Certainly passive income. You're not, you're just letting, look, it's up on this fucking yen trade now. So I could get out of the yen or let that go. See, this is not, you'd even be torn in this situation. Okay, looks like the euro's going up. And the dollar's going up against the yen. It picked up that Australia CAD trade, and it hasn't put any new orders in for my scalp-orientated stuff. Okay, so I'm going to bail on this winner because I see the dollar going, I mean, you see the euro going up against the dollar. So let that guy go. I guess it does. I guess it's looking back. There's no signals on it. Doesn't matter what time frame I run. It's not going to try to place an order. Well, hopefully I didn't kill the robot by changing time frames. I've never actually run one real time. Okay, so far it's not getting a fill. Now if I change the delta, or if I change the ATR look back, I kind of wanted to trade the way I traded, which is like all the time. So maybe I can change this ATR on here. If I go to the expert. So if I make this look back 1 day, or 1 period, and now just save this as a new template, and then run this guy and everything. Okay, there you go. So you just load this across the board, and then you could save the whole template and call it scalping or something. Profile, scalp, profile. Just gotta load all these. It's the hard part is there doesn't seem to be a hotkey to bring up this template stuff. Okay, I think I got them all in here. And then okay. So this guy's coming back, but yeah, I'm up. Still holding. It's beautiful. It doesn't seem to overtrade. I can't pick the ATR number, but I can just pick how many days back. So it's 1 period back right now. I'm assuming this is what's talking to the there 1. The delta's 3. Pretty tight entry.